Oh, hello, everybody. I'm so glad you're here for day 2 of 3 days to reawaken your purpose. Today's a good one. I'm excited. I'm just so happy you're here. And um, I'm just want to acknowledge that last night, the Zoom mishap was not how I'd planned to start our journey together, but I really appreciate your patience and your grace. And the good news is I figured it out and it is working today. So, yay! So excited. So, thank you so much for showing up. It tells me that you're committed to yourself, and I'm just so honored to be a part of your journey. So, I just want you to get comfortable, and I invite you to take a deep breath and release. And just allow yourself to settle in this moment. Tonight is all about possibility. It's about recognizing that the life you've been living doesn't have to be the life that you continue to live. So, just a quick recap about our day 1. So, yesterday we talked about awareness. We explored the pain points that many high functioning women experience. We discussed feeling overwhelmed, losing yourself while caring for everyone else, emotional exhaustion, self-doubt, and just having that feeling that there's something more. And awareness is really powerful because if you don't have awareness, you can't change anything. You just continue down the same path. And it's really beautiful because I've received some feedback already about how powerful yesterday was and the things that have come up already for people. And it can be scary. It can be really scary to acknowledge pain, in a way, suffering and happiness. But that acknowledgement is really the gold. Like I said yesterday, it is the gold. It is more precious than anything monetary. So powerful. And so tonight we're going to start the next step. And we're going to ask, why do these patterns exist? And more importantly, how do we begin changing them? So I wanted to, if you've not received the workbook, message me so I can send that to you. And I can either text it to you or I can send it in Messenger on Facebook. And I'm just going to flip to it really quick in case you don't have it. And we're on day 2. And day 2 is about transformation. And so here's the workbook and the things that we're going to be talking about today. So if you don't have it, please grab something that you can write on. And again, I'm happy to send you a copy. So, when I say the word scarcity, what comes up for you when you hear scarcity? Usually the first thing that comes up is money. But scarcity is so much bigger than money. Scarcity is a mindset. It's the belief that there isn't enough of anything. It can be money, it can be time, it can be love, it can be joy, not enough joy, not enough happiness. It can be anything. Not enough energy, not enough success, not enough rest, not enough confidence, and sometimes not enough of us. Scarcity often sounds like, I don't have time, or I'm so far behind. I can't slow down. I can't sit down. I can't sit down and eat my lunch. I have to do everything myself. If I stop, everything will fall apart. These thoughts just don't affect how we feel. They literally affect every decision we make. So I want to ask you, how many of these sound familiar? You constantly feel behind. You feel guilty when you rest. You have difficulty saying no. You compare yourself to others. You rarely celebrate your accomplishments. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I was checking to see if anyone was in Zoom. I'm gonna get there. Telling you guys, me and the Zoom. The last one was, you rarely celebrate your accomplishments. You believe your worth is tied to your productivity. You always feel like there's something more you should be doing. And if any of these resonate with you, no, you're not broken. Many of us were taught to live this way. And if you have the workbook, the first question is, how do you know you're living in a scarcity mindset? And if any of those things that I just talked about, really, you felt it, you felt something in your body, write those down. And if you can think of anything else, add that to that list. It's really good to see where you're at and where you're thinking and what's happening in your mind and what's coming up in your body as you're hearing this. Write it down so you have that awareness, you have that gold. There are actually certain things that can cause this. And one of them is performance over personhood. So many of us learned that our value comes from what we accomplish. We're praised for working harder, doing more, being more productive, but we are rarely praised for resting, for listening to our bodies, or simply being. And I have such a good personal example of this, of, working in critical care. And at that time I was a nurse manager there, and had worked all day, and my charge nurses called out sick, so I had to stay all night. And then it was the next day and I had my job again, so I stayed a little bit later. And it was such an interesting experience because in my mind it's like, I have to do this, and my body was just exhausted, and I completely ignored my body. And there could have been other options for me, but my brain couldn't even go there. Just couldn't even go there. And looking back, it's just so interesting when you're in that scarcity mindset. I could not think of any other way of doing it. And so I just did it. Just absolutely did it. And I know many women have had situations like that where they've pushed themselves to the limit or just ignored whatever was coming up. I've got to do good. I got to do better. I have to work harder. And so number 2 is comparison and competition. So we live in a world that consistently invites us to compare. And social media is a great example of that. Someone always seems to be doing more, looking better, achieving more. They have this, they have that. Their life looks so good. But comparison steals our joy, and it pulls us away from our own path and keeps us focused on someone else's. It literally disconnects us from our being and who we are when we're comparing. And it's not easy to see someone in their state or in their moment and not think, ooh, I can't do that. Or I wish I could do that. Or how did they get to do that? It really is, it can be something that you've learned when you were so little to compare yourself to others. And it could, there could be many ways of achieving that conditioning. And it is so hard as an adult, after years and years of doing it, of breaking that. And there are ways that we can absolutely change those thoughts that we have, because they're just so natural. It just seems so natural to always be thinking those thoughts. And then number 3 is that we've been taught that everything is urgent. Respond immediately. Keep pushing. Don't slow down. But when everything feels urgent, we never create a space to hear ourselves. There is so much power in a pause, in being given some information or someone needing something, and just having a moment of silence for yourself. And it does not have to be long. It can be very, very short, 30 seconds even, to just let you have that moment of really connecting if that's the right thing for you to do. And our purpose isn't discovered in constant busyness. In fact, you'll never find purpose, your true purpose, if your mind is just always going. It's discovered in moments of being present and in the moment. And just like I was talking about working harder, having a time to pause could have helped to just really help me connect with my body and what I needed to do. It's just fear is so powerful, and it really kicks in fight or flight, and it just automatic takes over, telling your body a lion's coming after you when there's nothing coming after you. But if that is just a conditioning that we have, it's really hard for it to go away. You have to be aware. That's the first step. You have to be aware that you are feeling that way. And again, feeling feelings can be hard. It is not easy. It can be really scary, but that is the first step. So next, we're going to flip from scarcity to abundance. So if scarcity says there isn't enough, what do you think abundance says? And as you think of that, what does that do in your body? Abundance says, I have enough. Abundance says, I'm loved. How does that feel? Does it feel foreign? How about I am enough? I'm enough. There is enough time for what truly matters. How did that feel? Abundance is not about pretending that life is perfect. It's about choosing to trust rather than fear. Ever thought that fear and trust were opposites? Yeah. It's making decisions from peace instead of panic. I can tell you when I make decisions out of panic, they're usually not the best ones. But when I make decisions from peace, I'm making a good choice. It's believing that slowing down doesn't mean falling behind. Slowing down. I love that. So we're going to move to our workbook. And if you don't have one, you can grab a piece of paper or a journal or a notebook. And if you do have it, grab it. And I'd love for you to write down these 6 strategies to shift from scarcity to abundance. So one of the strategies, and we've been talking about it a lot, but I don't think there's anything wrong with continuing to talk about it because it is the gold. It is becoming aware. Becoming aware and noticing your thoughts without any judgment. Not judging your thoughts starts to build trust. Because your thoughts are there. And like I said earlier, usually from a conditioning. Something that you learned subconsciously when you were really little. And when these thoughts come up, I really like to get curious. And I really like to think, that's interesting. I wonder why I thought that. Whether or not I dive deep, because sometimes you might not be in the right space or timeline to do that. You might be busy. But taking note of it, that came up. That's really interesting. Even if they're negative or painful or frustrating, all of that is real. All of it is real. And judgment would be, I shouldn't be mad. That shouldn't hurt me. I shouldn't be frustrated. You know, I can't believe I'm a bad person because I thought that. That's judgment. So just being present in the moment with your thoughts. Number 2 is practicing gratitude. This helps you train your mind to notice what is already present in the moments, good or bad. Just having gratitude. I was talking with a friend today, and she had a beautiful week last week out of town and likes to golf, and told me that she'd put her hands on the grass and, I love you, grass. That is practicing gratitude in the moment. So beautiful. And it's the little things. I find I love my backyard, and we have a lot of animals that come into it, and I talk to them like they're little people, and it is just beautiful to have them in our yard. Just absolutely love it. So much gratitude. But it's so interesting because when you practice gratitude, it brings it right into your heart space, and that builds cohesion with your brain, coherence with your brain. So it just creates this beautiful space of releasing all the fight or flight hormones. It just releases all those neurotransmitters. That gratitude gives your body the peace that it needs. And number 3 is setting loving boundaries. I love that. The thought of setting boundaries can be scary. What does that look like? What does that even mean? It can be really powerful to set boundaries. And a conversation that I had once with an employee that was struggling with a family member is she set boundaries, but it really was in a way to punish the other person. And I found that really interesting. I was like, oh, that's an interesting way of looking at that. And I think maybe in my life, I might have felt that too. But loving boundaries protect your time and your energy. I go to bed at 8, so I say no to a lot of things in the evening, even if it would be great, even if it's with family. Like, I know I need my sleep. And so that is a loving boundary. Some things I won't attend because of, what's going on there. And that's okay, because I want to be in a different environment. That's a lovely boundary. And I don't need to explain anything. You just set that. I'm not going to be able to make it. I hope you guys have a good time. That's okay. That's very loving. And number 4 is speaking kindly to yourself. This one can take a lot of work and a lot of time. It can be one of the biggest challenges as humans to overcome is replacing self-criticism with compassion. And I would love to hear in the comments if anyone has had experience with this, because it is so different to live a life in self-criticism and then flip it to compassion, and you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe the energy I have. I cannot believe the space that I have for myself and for other things. You just show up so differently. But it can be really challenging to start that and to continue it. Number 5 is creating daily practices. And just looking at my list, I might need to reorganize it, because that in my life was really the first thing that I did. My daily practices are what helped me be present, practice gratitude, set the boundaries. That daily practice is so powerful, and it can look different for everybody. Daily practice for me personally is I meditate every morning, and I do work out every morning. My body needs it. I feel like crap when I don't. Gratitude journaling is a part of my daily practice, and personal development is a part of my daily practice. And that combo is just, it's like a puzzle piece just coming right into me. Other things that I love to do is to be outside as much as I can. And all of this time, it doesn't take as much as you would think, because it creates all of the space in your day for other things when you start implementing these behaviors. You're less anxious, you're sleeping better, you're prioritizing better, you're doing all of these things when you have daily practices. Just small, consistent actions create lasting change, and it's just so effective. And one of my favorites is don't do it alone. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned is that transformation doesn't happen in isolation. There is no way I could have learned all of the tools, all of the things by myself. There's absolutely no way. I was trying. And I still have mentors. I still have coaches. I still invest in my own growth. And not because I feel like I'm broken or something's wrong with me, but I value wanting to continue to grow. It is so important to me, and there's so much more growth. And, people, I received a beautiful text last night, are really surprised at how different I am. People that have been in my life for years and years and years are like, oh my gosh, you are so different. And there's more, in a year I'm going to be different. In 2 years I'm going to be different. I absolutely love the growth. And there's one of the reasons why I'm focusing on supporting women is every single person that has been one of my mentors or coaches has been a woman. And it has been so magical to learn and to really be held and supported by other women. And it's just beautiful. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. So there is a lot of support and community when it comes to implementing all of these things that we're talking about. So in our homework, I want you to post it on this thread of this Facebook Live that you're going to see in Facebook. And it says day 2 on it. I want you to post, what scarcity belief are you ready to release? And you can take some time on that. But what scarcity belief are you just tired of? Are you ready to release it? And then, if you would like to, post, how will choosing abundance change your life? And you can go wild with that one. If you don't want to post it, journal about it. My first abundance meditation was me living on a beach. And it was wonderful. I saw my house. I saw the clothes I was wearing, the people I was with, and oh my gosh, I had so much joy in my heart. So how will it change your life? What will happen for you as you choose abundance? And it's a choice. We actually get to choose if we want to stay in scarcity and fear or truth and abundance. We get to choose that. And we're not taught that. But we get to choose it. We have that power. And tomorrow is my favorite day. We're going to bring everything together. We're going to talk about self-love. Not the kind that lives on inspirational quotes, but the kind that actually changes your life. Because purpose begins in believing you're worthy of living it. So I want to invite you to do a meditation with me right now. And I'm going to put on some little music. Like I said earlier, I love to meditate. So if you're getting nervous about this, don't get nervous. If thoughts come in your head, it's okay. Just let them come in and then let them leave. I want to turn down a little bit. So I just invite you to sit comfortably in your chair and close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and breathe out. Bring to mind one scarcity belief that you've been carrying. And now notice in your body where you feel it. Now imagine placing that belief on a leaf, floating down a peaceful stream. You don't have to do anything. Just let it drift. Now place your hand over your heart. And you can repeat silently or out loud, I release what no longer serves me. I choose trust over fear. I choose possibility over limitation. I am enough. I am worthy of a life filled with peace, purpose, and joy. Take one final deep breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And I just want to really thank you for being here tonight and spending this time with me. I really know how important time is for us all. And I respect that and I honor your time. And so just thank you so much for choosing yourself and being here. It's a very beautiful way of honoring yourself. And transformation doesn't happen because we learn something new. Transformation happens when we begin living differently. And I hope you're proud of yourself and the work that you're doing. Because this is, like I said, it's not easy, but it is so powerful. So I hope you're feeling love for yourself right now. And I will see you tomorrow as we talk about one of the most important relationships you'll ever have in your life, the relationship with yourself. Absolutely love it. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. And if you want a copy of the workbook, let me know. I'll message you one or text it to you. And I just hope that you all have a beautiful day, or evening rather. And I will see you tomorrow, day 3. So have a beautiful evening.